Well, these are from my great-grandfather. Ned Hanlon is his name. It's my mother's side. And when the Antiques Roadshow was coming to town, I said, I'm going to apply for tickets. Got the tickets and called my mom and said, hey, Mom, how about those things we have from your grandfather? I know one may be a set of cufflinks, but the others I don't really know what they're used for.
Linked directly to one of baseball's greatest early strategists, this remarkable group of championship jewelry belonged to legendary manager Ned Hanlon, often remembered as Foxy Ned. Hanlon transformed late 19th century baseball through aggressive tactics such as the hit and run, bunting strategy, and fast-paced inside baseball, influencing generations of managers who followed him. The collection centers around a rare set of jeweled championship lapel pins commemorating the Baltimore Orioles National League pennants of 1894, 1895, and 1896. Each pin incorporates baseball imagery, along with gemstones marking the consecutive titles, including ruby, sapphire, and diamond accents. The reverse sides are engraved to Hanlon himself, connecting the pieces directly to one of the most influential figures in baseball history. Hanlon first played professionally with the Detroit Wolverines before becoming manager of the powerhouse Baltimore Orioles teams of the 1890s. Under his leadership, the club dominated the National League and helped shape the modern style of baseball management. His managerial influence later extended through figures such as John McGraw, Casey Stengel, and Billy Martin. Also included are exceptionally rare 1900 Brooklyn Championship cufflinks formed as crossed baseball bats and balls. Surviving Baltimore Orioles material from this era is extraordinarily scarce, particularly objects tied directly to a Hall of Fame manager.
If it were appraised for insurance, I would appraise it at $200,000.
Oh, my God. No, that's really unexpected. Wow. No kidding.
Yeah.
Can we turn that one back around?
Yeah.
Wow, that's quite a surprise. Oh, my mother's going to be very pleased. Golly, that's unexpected.
I've collected this about 40 years. Picked them up at yard sales and flea markets and box lots and auctions, and it's mostly mourning jewelry.
And what made you attracted to collecting mourning jewelry?
I think it was just the interest that it's a part of somebody and it's something very special.
Right.
So.
Assembled over 4 decades from flea markets, yard sales, auctions, and box lots, this remarkable collection of mourning jewelry offers an intimate glimpse into the customs of Georgian and Victorian society. Mourning jewelry was deeply connected to grief, remembrance, and emotional attachment, often worn after the death of a loved one or during long separations. During the Victorian era, strict mourning traditions shaped not only clothing, but also the jewelry considered appropriate to wear. Many of the pieces in the collection incorporate woven human hair, one of the most personal forms of memorial jewelry ever created. Hairwork jewelry became especially popular during the 18th and 19th centuries because hair survives long after death, symbolizing memory and enduring connection. Some examples were woven by professional jewelers, while others could be made at home using specialized kits sold for domestic craftwork. Among the standout examples is a late Georgian brooch featuring woven brunette hair beneath rock crystal and garnets, as well as a rare mourning ring dated 1782 containing the image of a skull hidden beneath topaz. Particularly unusual are the painted mourning scenes created from pulverized hair mixed into pigment, depicting grieving women beside urns and weeping willow trees, symbols traditionally associated with loss and remembrance.
I would say that you probably have a collection here that's worth something between $70,000 and $90,000.
No, really. Wow,
It's really fabulous.
that's a lot of money.
It is. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I brought some jewelry that was either my great-grandmother's or my great-great-grandmother's. My great-grandmother was a very prominent woman in San Francisco.
I see.
And she was very much involved with the Jewish San Franciscans in the 1800s.
This elegant suite of Art Deco jewelry reflects the geometric sophistication and refined craftsmanship that defined luxury jewelry during the 1920s and 1930s. Crafted primarily in platinum and diamonds with small sapphire accents, the collection includes a bracelet, ring, and pearl necklace with a dramatic diamond pendant. The bracelet is a classic Art Deco design with strong symmetry, platinum openwork, and old European cut diamonds accented by smaller stones and sapphires, likely synthetic as was common during the era. Its excellent condition and substantial diamond weight make it a particularly strong example of East Coast American Art Deco jewelry. Auction estimate, $10,000 to $15,000. The ring centers on an old European cut diamond of approximately 2 carats, surrounded by delicate single-cut diamonds. Platinum settings like this represented the height of modern elegance during the Art Deco period, allowing jewelers to create intricate geometric forms with remarkable lightness and precision. Auction estimate, $12,000 to $18,000. Most impressive is the pearl necklace with its dramatic pendant, centered by an old cushion-cut diamond of roughly 3 carats, framed by additional old European cut diamonds. The cultured pearls appear to be later additions to an earlier Art Deco pendant, a common alteration as jewelry evolved through generations of wear. Auction estimate, $25,000 to $35,000.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, lovely suite you've got there. Nice.
Wow. Okay. I'm happy with that.
My husband's mother started the collection. This is basically hers. We've added to it.
Right.
When she passed away, we found them in the safe deposit box and didn't realize there were that many of them. And my husband really liked it, so we decided we would continue the collection.
Elegant and highly personal. This remarkable collection of late Victorian and Edwardian stick pins captures the refined jewelry fashions of the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Most examples are English and American, crafted in 14-karat gold with detailed enamel work, diamonds, and miniature sculptural motifs. The collection includes finely modeled dog portraits, floral pins decorated with lily-of-the-valley designs, and a rare English grouse pin set with diamonds dating to around 1890. Small old mine-cut diamonds and hand-applied enamel add richness to many of the pieces. During this era, stick pins were fashionable accessories worn on ties, lapels, hats, and collars, allowing subtle displays of personality and taste. What makes the group especially impressive is its scale and variety. These miniature objects were crafted with extraordinary care, despite their size, transforming simple accessories into tiny works of decorative art. Collections preserved together in such large numbers are increasingly uncommon today.
Oh
But
my!
in a retail environment,
We give the retail price of around $60,000.
Oh.
There are certainly a few here, which are certainly far more than $500. And there are a few, I'm afraid, which are a little bit less.
Right.
But on average, $500 is a conservative price.
Oh,
You like that?
yes. Thank you.
They're memorial rings, and some of them have coffins and skulls on them. They generally have the person's name and the date of their death, sometimes the date of their birth and their age. I had read about a coffin ring once in a mystery novel when I was young and was intrigued by it and sort of began a search and then noticed memorial jewelry, and I was fascinated by it because I thought it had a story to tell, and it was an interesting custom.
Darkly fascinating and deeply symbolic, this collection of memorial rings traces the traditions of mourning jewelry in England from the late 17th through the 18th century. Such jewelry was created to commemorate the dead, often inscribed with names, dates of death, ages, and personal memorial messages. Wealthy families frequently arranged in their wills for mourning rings to be produced and distributed among relatives after their passing. Many examples in the collection feature black enamel, hair under glass, skull imagery, coffins, and symbolic references to mortality. During the Georgian period, death was treated as an accepted and visible part of life, and mourning jewelry became both an emotional keepsake and a public expression of remembrance. Among the most remarkable pieces are 3 exceptionally rare skull rings. One contains a coffin-shaped rock crystal panel covering a painted skeleton, surrounded by enamel motifs of skulls, crossbones, and grave-digging tools. Another features a silver skull with ruby eyes mounted on a gold band dating from the late 17th or early 18th century. The most elaborate example, dating around 1720, displays enamel decoration of an entire skeleton extending around the body of the ring beneath a rectangular rock crystal panel. The collection also includes earlier Georgian mourning bands, curl rings containing locks of hair, and miniature mourning scenes created from hair work. Pieces of this quality and survival are increasingly scarce today, especially complete groups assembled over decades of focused collecting.
The whole collection, as I see it today at retail in the collector's market, is $40,000.
Okay.
So it pays to do your homework.
To do your homework, it does.
Thanks for bringing them to the roadshow.
Oh, it's been wonderful.
These are some antique jade pieces that were acquired in about the last 12 years. They were bought from auctions, investing with a family member.
Showcasing the elegance and enduring value of fine jadeite jewelry, this collection spans several decades of 20th century design. The group includes a carved jade bead necklace from the 1930s or 1940s, a pair of jadeite and diamond earrings from the 1960s, and a striking jade cabochon ring mounted in yellow gold with diamonds. The necklace is composed of carefully matched carved jade beads, linked by delicate gold wire work, and accented with interlocking jade rings. In jade jewelry, consistency of color and translucency is especially important, and the necklace displays an unusually harmonious match between the stones despite the natural variation within the material. The earrings feature jadeite cabochons framed by diamonds, while the ring contains the finest jade in the group. Specialists noted its highly translucent glassy appearance, often described in the trade as gemmy jadeite. The uneven shape of the cabochon suggests the jade itself is older than the mounting, likely recut from an earlier object to preserve the strongest area of color. High-quality jadeite has risen dramatically in value over recent decades, particularly pieces displaying rich translucency and vivid natural color. Together, these jewels illustrate both the artistry and investment appeal long associated with fine jade.
I would say in today's market, this piece, if you were going to go out and buy it again, you'd be looking at somewhere around $7,000.
Oh, okay. Very good.
On the earrings, you said about $3,000, and in today's marketplace, at auction, you would have to probably pay around $8,000 or $9,000
Wow.
for it. In today's market at auction, you're looking at somewhere between $15,000 to $20,000.
Wow.
So this is the best piece you've got. It also is the prettiest, and it's a really beautiful piece of jade.
Thank you, Peter. That is such good news.
This was my grandmother's jewelry. She and my grandfather came to America in 1939. They left Italy. They were Italian Jews, and they left from the persecution of the Jews from Mussolini. And my grandmother was pregnant with my mom, and she wore a fur coat and lined the fur coat with the jewelry in their travels. They didn't have traveler's checks then, so.
They just had jewels and fur coats.
Yes, yes.
And do you remember her wearing this at all?
I think that one of the rings was her wedding ring.
Elegant and deeply representative of 1920s Art Deco design, this refined jewelry collection reflects the geometric sophistication and craftsmanship associated with European luxury jewelry between the wars. Most pieces are platinum set with diamonds, featuring the crisp lines and delicate structural details that defined the Art Deco period. At the center of the group is a striking bar pin set with a large emerald-cut diamond, flanked by old European cut stones. The necklace below is especially impressive, designed with fine knife-edge platinum links and suspended diamond drops, a hallmark of high-style Art Deco jewelry. Complete necklaces of this type are increasingly difficult to find because many were later dismantled and converted into separate pieces, such as earrings. The collection also includes platinum diamond rings set with old European cut diamonds and a pair of elegant diamond earrings dating slightly earlier, likely from the 1910s or very early 1920s. None of the jewelry is signed, though the workmanship strongly suggests European manufacture, possibly Italian.
I would expect that the whole group would bring at least $30,000.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's extraordinary. I hadn't expected that.
Well, I was fortunate to have inherited it from a wealthy Dutch aunt. I was born in Amsterdam, in Holland, and my parents were there during the Nazi occupation and decided for many reasons to immigrate to America.
This elegant jewelry suite reflects the romantic revival of antique European jewelry styles popular during the 1950s. The collection includes a pearl necklace, bracelet, brooch, earrings, ring, and matching diamond set pieces, all crafted in silver-topped gold and mounted with rose-cut diamonds. Although the jewelry closely resembles genuine 17th and 18th century Dutch pieces, the set was actually produced in the mid-1950s, confirmed through Dutch hallmarks dating to 1955. The design intentionally recreates the appearance of antique jewelry from Holland, particularly through the use of rose-cut diamonds, a style strongly associated with Dutch jewelry traditions for centuries. Especially striking are the articulated brooch and bracelet, whose flowing structure and delicate movement imitate the craftsmanship of earlier European jewelry. The cultured pearls, slightly irregular in shape with a soft, creamy tone, are also characteristic of pearl jewelry made during the 1950s before culturing techniques became highly standardized. Combining post-war craftsmanship with historic Dutch influence, the suite captures the enduring fascination with antique jewelry styles that remained highly fashionable in Europe after World War II.
I would say that in the current market, given the current conditions, I would put the insurance value at between $25,000 and $30,000.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my. When I bring it out of the safety deposit box and my husband looks at it, he starts mentioning he needs a new pickup, and I say, no, it's going back into the safety deposit.
There was a professor at the University of California, and he spent summers with the Indians. He became a member of their tribe and was on their council. Now, they came from him through several inheritances to me. I don't know if the Indians gave him the necklaces or if he bought them, but they did come from the Indians.
Dating from roughly 1890 to 1900, this extraordinary group of Navajo jewelry represents some of the finest early silverwork associated with the American Southwest. The collection includes 2 classic squash blossom necklaces, together with several heavy silver turquoise bracelets, all handmade using traditional techniques such as hammering, chiseling, filing, and hand soldering. The necklaces are centered by crescent-shaped pendants known as najas, one of the most recognizable forms in Navajo jewelry. The design itself originated in North Africa, later traveled through Spain into Mexico, and eventually reached Navajo lands through trade routes such as the Santa Fe Trail. Over time, the form became deeply associated with southwestern Native American jewelry traditions. Particularly impressive is the craftsmanship throughout the collection. Every silver bead was individually formed and soldered by hand, while the turquoise stones display rich natural blue and green coloration, highly prized in early Navajo work. The bracelets, made from heavy ingot silver with restrained stamped decoration, reflect the bold yet elegant simplicity characteristic of the earliest Navajo jewelry.
Squash blossom necklace closest to me, I think would have a retail value of about $8,000. Oh. The squash blossom necklace nearest you, in the neighborhood of $5,000 to $6,000. This is probably the most beautiful naja I have ever seen. It's simply off the charts. The same can be said about these bracelets. It's a spectacular sense of design and quality. These bracelets on a retail market value about $2,000 to $3,000 a piece. Oh. They are simply as good as it gets.
Well, I am amazed. I had no idea it would be that much.
A friend of mine gave them to me several years ago. Her father, Mr. Hoff, lived on the outskirts of Baden-Baden, Germany, and between the First and Second World Wars, he started collecting these as a hedge against inflation, and he thought when Hitler came into power, there might be some form of currency he could use. So he started buying these and collecting them, and as it got closer to World War II, he buried them in his backyard.
Richly decorated and unusually well preserved, this collection of European signet rings dates from the early 20th century and reflects a tradition of gold jewelry closely tied to family identity, status, and portable wealth. Most examples are crafted in 14-karat gold, while several larger rings are 18-karat, featuring deeply carved ornament and heavy sculptural forms rarely seen today. Across Europe, signet rings traditionally carried engraved family crests or monograms, though unfinished examples without engraving were known as blanks. These rings display intricate detailing around the entire band, demonstrating the high level of craftsmanship typical of continental jewelers before World War II. Particularly striking is the survival of the collection as a complete group. During periods of economic crisis, and especially when gold prices surged in the 1980s, heavy men's jewelry was often melted for bullion value. Because of that, ornate signet rings of this scale and quality have become increasingly uncommon. Also included is a large piece of scrap gold weighing nearly an ounce of 14-karat gold, reflecting the historic role of gold as a form of emergency currency and portable security during unstable periods in Europe.
When I add up the whole collection and even toss in your gold nugget, we're looking at $19,000 in retail value.
Wow.
When they're sold individually as signet rings in the marketplace.
Well, I can assure you they're not going anywhere. Mr. Hoff, I feel like, is watching how I take care of them. I'm going to continue to take care of them and tell a story every time I wear the one ring.
Yes.
And I'm so proud to wear it.
They all belong to my mother, and she passed away in 1997, but I've had them and I've known them even before then.
Centered around the rich purple tones of amethyst, this elegant jewelry collection reflects the enduring popularity of one of the world's most recognizable gemstones. Most pieces date to the mid-20th century, and showcase amethyst mounted in gold across several different styles and quality levels. The pear-shaped pendant is set in gold with a pale lavender amethyst from South America, the most common source of commercial amethyst in the 20th century. While graceful and wearable, lighter stones are generally considered less desirable than deeply saturated examples. Its estimated value is around $300. The matching pear-shaped earrings share the same softer coloration and likely formed a coordinated set with the pendant. Though attractive, their lighter tone keeps them within the more accessible end of the amethyst market. The pair is valued at approximately $300. A major step upward in quality appears in the diamond-surrounded ring. The amethyst displays a rich, saturated purple color that collectors strongly favor, while the surrounding diamonds add both brilliance and value. Set in 14-karat gold, the ring carries an estimated value of around $2,000. The circular brooch features polished cabochon amethysts, carefully matched in tone and color. The smooth, rounded stones create a softer visual effect compared to faceted gems. The brooch is valued between $1,200 and $1,500. Most exceptional is the bracelet, originally housed in a Bulgari box, though not made by Bulgari itself. The bracelet is set with rare Siberian amethysts, distinguished by vivid violet-blue undertones rarely seen outside historic Russian material. Because genuine Siberian amethyst is increasingly scarce, the bracelet carries a retail value estimated between $10,000 and $12,000.
I brought a set of jewelry that was given as an engagement gift. My sixth great-grandfather to the woman that he was marrying. He was a steamboat captain after he made his fortune in the lead mines of Galena, and she was a doctor.
And what year did they get married?
1851.
Dating to 1851, this elegant engagement suite reflects the refined jewelry fashions of mid-19th century America while preserving an unusually personal family history. Rather than presenting a single engagement ring, affluent couples of the period often exchanged complete jewelry suites, particularly bracelets and brooches designed to be worn together. The set includes 2 delicate bar pins, a larger brooch, and most impressively, a solid gold bangle bracelet concealing a miniature Swiss watch. Decorated with natural pearls and vivid blue guilloche enamel, the bracelet opens to reveal a removable key wound watch that could also be worn as a pendant around the neck. Long before wristwatches became fashionable in the early 20th century, pieces like this already explored the idea of wearable timepieces integrated into jewelry. The craftsmanship throughout the suite reflects the luxury market of the era, combining precision Swiss watchmaking with finely executed goldwork and enamel decoration. Guilloche enamel, with its engraved engine-turned patterns shimmering beneath translucent color, was especially prized in high-quality jewelry during the Victorian period.
In a retail sale, I could see this whole suite, especially the watch, but all together bringing $15,000.
That's amazing.
My sister and I have collected this jewelry that belonged to my grandmother. She was born in 1900. She lived to be 100, and she had really good taste, and my grandfather enjoyed buying jewelry for her. I'm curious about especially this piece. I didn't really see that one until she had passed away, but I loved that one. I'm kind of the only one in the family, the only one of the sisters who really was attracted to that one.
Elegant and unmistakably Italian, this Buccellati jewelry suite dates from the 1950s and reflects the extraordinary craftsmanship of Mario Buccellati, one of the most celebrated jewelers of 20th century Italy. The group includes a bracelet, earrings, and leaf-form brooches crafted in 18-karat yellow gold with richly colored sapphires. Known as the Prince of Goldsmiths, Mario Buccellati became famous for transforming gold into delicate sculptural forms through intricate hand engraving and openwork techniques. The oak leaf motifs throughout the suite are shaped from thin rolled gold, then stamped and engraved to recreate the texture and veins of natural leaves. Despite their refined appearance, the pieces were carefully engineered to remain light, flexible, and durable. Particularly striking is the leaf clip, accented with vivid magenta-toned sapphires. Buccellati focused less on using the most expensive stones and more on achieving perfect harmony between color, texture, and form. The combination of engraved gold surfaces, naturalistic design, and bold sapphire accents became one of the defining signatures of the house. Signed Mario Buccellati, rather than simply Buccellati, the suite represents an earlier and especially desirable period in the company's history, before later generations expanded the brand internationally.
At auction, as a group, $8,000 to $12,000.
Well, that's really nice to know. We really love it. It's our grandmother. I'm very excited. I know my sister will be excited too.
Tell us a little bit about this beautiful necklace that's here.
It has been in my family for many, many generations, and I was lucky enough to be the last one to receive it.
Passed down through generations of the same family. This elegant Georgian necklace and earring suite dates from the early 19th century and reflects the refined goldsmithing traditions of England during the Georgian era. crafted in gold with richly colored faceted amethysts, likely Siberian in origin. The set features delicate canotille work, a decorative technique created by curling and winding thin gold wire into intricate scrolling patterns often mistaken for filigree. The necklace is especially dramatic, with large articulated drops and a removable pendant section that can also be worn separately as a brooch, a fashionable multifunctional feature in Georgian jewelry. Matching earrings continue the same elaborate gold wire work and oversized hanging form popular during the period. Although the suite shows signs of later repairs and modifications, including altered earring backs, it remains a remarkably graceful survival of early 19th century jewelry design. Pieces of this scale and craftsmanship were luxury objects in their time and still embody the romantic elegance associated with Georgian fashion today.
Okay. I would say today that if you sold this at auction, it would be in the neighborhood of $8,000 to $12,000.
Lovely.
That includes a pin also.
It does.
You get a pin out of the deal.
Oh, I'm delighted to know that.
Well, my father went to Edinburgh, Scotland in 1933 after graduating college, and he purchased this from an antique dealer there.
Is he Scottish?
Yes.
Okay, so he went to university in Edinburgh, presumably?
He went to Harvard.
Dating to 1873, this elaborate Scottish Highland dress set reflects the rich ceremonial traditions of Victorian Scotland. The collection includes a silver-mounted sporran, a sgian dubh, decorative tartan fasteners, dress buttons, an ornate belt buckle, and an impressive Highland dress dagger, all intended for formal Highland attire. The most striking object is the large dress dagger with its carved bog oak handle and prominent cairngorm quartz stone. Cairngorm, a smoky variety of quartz associated with the Scottish Highlands, became one of the signature materials used in traditional Scottish jewelry and ceremonial accessories during the 19th century. Similar polished cabochon stones appear throughout the set, mounted into silver fittings of exceptional quality. The silverwork is richly engraved with intricate Celtic strapwork, dragons, and scrolling ornament executed with remarkable precision. Hallmarks on the buckle identify the maker as William Marshall and confirm manufacture in Edinburgh in 1873 through the Edinburgh Assay Office marks and Scottish Thistle silver guarantee, preserved together as a complete ensemble. The set survives as a remarkable example of Victorian-era Highland silverwork and ceremonial dress.
Do you know how much your father paid for it?
Absolutely no idea.
Okay. At auction, I would estimate this to sell for between $8,000 and $12,000.
Well, my father went to Edinburgh, Scotland in 1933 after graduating college, and he purchased this from an antique dealer there.
Is he Scottish?
Yes.
Okay, so he went to university in Edinburgh, presumably?
He went to Harvard.
Dating to 1873, this elaborate Scottish Highland dress set reflects the rich ceremonial traditions of Victorian Scotland. The collection includes a silver-mounted sporran, a sgian dubh, decorative tartan fasteners, dress buttons, an ornate belt buckle, and an impressive Highland dress dagger, all intended for formal Highland attire. The most striking object is the large dress dagger with its carved bog oak handle and prominent cairngorm quartz stone. Cairngorm, a smoky variety of quartz associated with the Scottish Highlands, became one of the signature materials used in traditional Scottish jewelry and ceremonial accessories during the 19th century. Similar polished cabochon stones appear throughout the set, mounted into silver fittings of exceptional quality. The silverwork is richly engraved with intricate Celtic strapwork, dragons, and scrolling ornament executed with remarkable precision. Hallmarks on the buckle identify the maker as William Marshall and confirm manufacture in Edinburgh in 1873 through the Edinburgh Assay Office marks and Scottish Thistle silver guarantee, preserved together as a complete ensemble. The set survives as a remarkable example of Victorian-era Highland silverwork and ceremonial dress.
Do you know how much your father paid for it?
Absolutely no idea.
Okay. At auction, I would estimate this to sell for between $8,000 and $12,000.
I got this about 4 years ago. Here in Cincinnati, we have an organization which is a consignment shop, and then the 50% that they keep goes to the cancer wellness community. Okay. So I purchased this through them for $300 or $350. And this piece, we have a home on Lake Erie, and there's a little community called Lakeside that has a little flea market every year. And I picked this up a couple of summers ago. And this piece I bought online earlier this year for $400 and $450. Okay.
Delicate and luminous. This small collection of moonstone jewelry highlights the enduring appeal of one of the most ethereal gemstones used during the Edwardian and Art Deco periods. The group includes an Art Deco moonstone ring with onyx and diamond shoulders, an Edwardian moonstone pendant carved as Medusa, and a later moonstone bracelet. Moonstone has long been admired for its soft, glowing optical effect, known as adolerescence, where light appears to float beneath the surface of the stone. The ring displays a particularly fine cabochon moonstone with impressive clarity and translucence, set within a classic Art Deco mounting accented by black onyx and diamonds. The pendant is the most unusual piece in the group. Dating to around 1905, it features an intricately carved image of Medusa, whose flowing hair transforms into serpents. Despite the mythological subject, the carving is executed with remarkable softness and elegance, making the figure appear almost serene rather than frightening. Together, the pieces reflect changing jewelry tastes across the early 20th century, while showcasing the unique beauty and dreamlike glow that made moonstone so desirable.
In terms of what these would be worth today at auction, the ring would come in at about $3,000 to $5,000. Okay. So you did very well on that. The pendant would be coming in just a little bit above that because there were a couple modifications made, about $4,000 to $6,000 at auction. So it's a nice piece again. And then the bracelet would probably be about $100 to $300 at auction, just because of the inclusions. So just three very different pieces. Thank you for bringing them in. They're very pretty. I love them. They're not going to be sold. That's fabulous.
My parents' first landlord, Joe and Dorothy Pick, Joe owned Club Madrid, which was, I don't want to say a speakeasy, but it was a club. It catered to professional football players. It catered to gangsters. Al Capone was there. It had some black market booze at the time. It also had some gambling.
This striking Art Deco jewelry suite, dating from the 1920s to early 1930s, reflects the bold glamour and craftsmanship of American jewelry design between the wars. The complete set includes a necklace, bracelet, earrings, and ring, all executed in 18-karat yellow gold and centered with large Brazilian amethysts, accented by seed pearls and elaborate twisted wire work. One of the most remarkable aspects of the group is that it has survived intact. Jewelry suites were often separated over generations, making complete matching sets increasingly uncommon today. The amethysts display a soft but vivid purple tone, characteristic of South American stones popular during the Art Deco period, while the hand-twisted gold wire borders and delicate seed pearl decoration add texture and contrast throughout the designs. Particularly notable is the handmade construction. The twisted wire links and decorative elements were individually formed and wrapped by hand, reflecting labor-intensive goldsmithing techniques of the era. The stamped leaf motifs on the sides of the ring strongly suggest American manufacture, most likely from New York, which was one of the major centers of jewelry production during the early 20th century.
I would say that at auction, this would be $4,000 to $6,000.
Really?
Really.
Wow, that's excellent. It really is.
A decorator had them, and he was in partnership with a friend of mine. And when they both died, I ended up with them. And we're assuming that they may have been for a Mardi Gras ball or maybe for a theater performance or something, but nobody knows for sure. He designed costumes for the Mardi Gras balls here in Baton Rouge. For the ladies' balls, they owned like a business that sold Mardi Gras stuff.
Created during the height of the Egyptian revival craze of the 1920s, this dramatic five-piece costume suite captures the fascination with ancient Egypt that swept through fashion and design after the discovery of King Tutankhamun's tomb in 1922. The set includes a woman's crown with winged sides and a peacock motif, a gentleman's crown decorated with cobras, two matching scarab bracelets, and a larger upper arm cuff intended to complete the theatrical ensemble. Constructed from brass and hand-set glass stones, the suite was designed for spectacle rather than precious materials. The bold use of cobras, scarabs, and stylized winged forms reflects the exotic imagery that became wildly fashionable during the Jazz Age. Pieces like these were often worn at masquerade balls, theatrical productions, or lavish costume parties inspired by Hollywood and the glamour of the era. Though unsigned, the workmanship strongly suggests American production, likely from New York or Hollywood, where elaborate costume accessories flourished in the 1920s. Richly decorative and unmistakably theatrical, the suite remains a vivid example of Egyptian revival design at its most extravagant.
I think standing alone, this crown would be worth around $1,500.
That's a lot of money.
This crown, the gentleman's crown, would be in the $1,000 range. The two smaller bracelets would be around $250 to $300 each. And the armband over there would be about $300. So we're looking for the whole group, right around $3,000.
That's a lot of money for those, yes.
I was very blessed to inherit this necklace from my great Aunt Mamie. She was born in Scotland, in Motherwell. She was one of 10 children and moved to the United States and moved to Chicago, where she had an insulation company. And then she moved to Los Angeles area, where she became a realtor in Venice, California. She was a realtor to the stars. She was always wearing the glitz and the glam and was always mentioning this movie star and that movie star. She entertained a lot. When she passed away in 1994, she had no children, and I was the lucky niece that got this necklace and earrings and beautiful ring.
Bold, glamorous, and unmistakably theatrical, this striking jewelry suite dates from roughly 1935 to 1945 and perfectly reflects the dramatic style associated with Hollywood-era fashion. The set includes a demi-bib necklace, matching drop earrings, and a coordinating ring, all centered with richly colored citrine stones accented by white sapphires. At first glance, the suite appears almost like costume jewelry because of its oversized scale and exuberant design. Yet the materials are entirely genuine. The warm golden citrines are carefully matched in tone and arrangement, creating the vivid, luxurious look that made the set so eye-catching. Although the surrounding stones resemble diamonds, they are actually white sapphires, adding brilliance while remaining more affordable than diamonds of comparable size. The use of 9-carat gold, rather than the higher carat gold, more common in fine European jewelry, suggests manufacture in South America, where this type of jewelry was often produced during the mid-20th century. Pieces like this occupied a fascinating space between high jewelry and glamorous fashion jewelry, designed to make a dramatic statement rather than emphasize rare gemstones alone.
I'd want to break up.
Okay.
You keep it all together. So if we put it into an auction, this would go into the catalog for $3,000 to $4,000.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah, it certainly would.
Yo. I can't believe it. That's wonderful. Thank you.
You might have to wear it out to dinner.
I might have to wear it a few more times.
It was something that my mother had, and I've had it now for about 15 years. Haven't really worn it. I always thought it was pretty, but really didn't know that much about it.
Dating from about 1945 to 1955, this Eisenberg ice parure captures the glamorous spirit of mid-century American costume jewelry. The complete suite includes a necklace, bracelet, brooch, and matching earrings, all set with vivid pink and deep cardinal red rhinestones mounted in white metal. Eisenberg began in Chicago as a clothing company during the 1920s, decorating dresses with elaborate rhinestone embellishments. The jeweled pieces became so popular that customers reportedly removed them from the garments, eventually leading the company to create standalone jewelry under the Eisenberg name. By the 1940s, Eisenberg had become one of the premier names in high-end American costume jewelry. The set uses Swarovski crystals and richly colored rhinestones carefully arranged for maximum brilliance and visual drama. Complete matching parures like this are increasingly difficult to find today, especially examples featuring colored stones instead of the more common clear crystal versions. Bold, theatrical, and unmistakably elegant. The suite remains a striking example of post-war American fashion jewelry at its peak.
On today's marketplace, good retail location, all these pieces would sell between $1,500 and $1,800.
Oh my goodness, I had no idea.
They're beautiful.
Oh,
now, you told me you didn't wear them that much. You're going to wear them
No,
now?
I've never worn them, but I might now.